welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an experiment in making a bowl using these colourful ostrich feathers. I'll put the link to these in the description, and this bowl that I've stolen from the kitchen that I hope I don't get found out for stealing, and pray that I don't get any resin on it. I've covered this in cling film, and this is the experiment to see if cling film will work as a release agent to allow this bowl to easily release from the aluminium bowl. And also I'm doing it on the inside of the bowl to see if it still makes a sturdy bowl, because normally I would do the form on the outside. So I'm going to place the feathers around on the inside of the bowl like this, and they're going to be sticking to my hands no end because of the static, and allow the resin that's put on these to float down or roll down into the bottom to create a heavier bottom and a more sturdy bottom. So without too much further ado, let's get on with this experiment. I have pre-sprayed this with a mold release, so that hopefully that will help when I come to take it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the feathers and put them in and around the bowl in alternating colours. And I've got the blue and the yellow feathers. I'm going to be using a fairly thick resin for this. I will list the one that I'm using in the description below so you can see which one I'm using. And I'm also going to be applying this, unlike I normally do where I dip the feathers in the resin, I'm going to be applying this using one of these sponge brushes to see if that works. So it's like another little experiment going on there as well. So my first feather I'm going to put in, hold it down with my thumb and bend it into the shape that I want it to be in, because it's not going to wrap around the actual bowl because of its being on the inside. And then I'm just going to dip my little sponge brush into the resin and coat it on, going the same direction as the actual fronds of the feather, so that I don't mess them all up. And the reason I've used a thicker resin rather than a thinner resin is because I think it will stick to the outside, to the cling film or saran wrap, much easier than a really thin resin, which would just actually all go down to the bottom. The big test is going to see whether I can get this to come off the actual cling film at the end, because that is where I've tried cling film before and I've never had success with it. But I've used several different layers this time, really to protect this bowl more than anything. So I'm going to carry on doing this feather all the way around, making sure it's fully coated, and then I'll move on to the next one. What I will say is this actual sponge brush is really good at applying the resin, and also what it isn't doing, it isn't messing the feather up in any way as well, and it's keeping it, allowing it to keep its shape. Don't forget, whenever you're making anything or doing anything using resin, ensure that you're using the correct PPE. I have got a mask on while I'm doing it, hence is why I normally do a voiceover like I'm doing now. I've also got goggles on and I've got gloves on. Now I'm just using the end of a plastic stick here to separate these fronds to make sure that they're not all clumped up together, and I think this enables it to give a much nicer look to the feathers. I mean, you can use whatever you want. I mean, it's not really going to damage anything by using a toothpick. What I'll do is I will post at the end of this video my video on PPE and safety as well, to give you some sort of idea of what is really important to do when working with resin to keep yourself safe. So I'm ready to put the next feather in. I feel that blue one's been nicely coated. I'm just going to pop it in so the top is sticking of the feather is sticking slightly above the bowl. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around it again using exactly the same technique, but brushing it so it sticks onto that previous feather as well, so there is an overlap. What I will be doing is I will be adding 2 layers of these feathers, because I think only 1 layer of these feathers will make quite a flimsy bowl at the end. So once I've gone round once, I will go round a second time using this same technique and again alternating the feathers. That way I think it will make a much more sturdy bowl, and it's likely to have more benefit in keeping it nicely in its shape. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I do experiments most weeks, and I do just regular projects most weeks, always with lots of tips and hints and tricks in it to improve your resin work. If you'd like to buy me a coffee to say thank you, I really appreciate that. It does help me keep this channel going, and I'll pop the link in the description below. Just click that link and you can buy me a coffee. And also I'd like to say a big thank you to all my members who benefit a great deal from all the extra perks and additional information. If you want to become a member, check out the join button. That's also in the description below. Well, this is all finished now, and what I have to do now is take it out of the bowl and pray I've got no resin on this bowl, because if not, I will get in so much trouble. So I'm just pulling the cling film away from the edges and then going to pop the bowl out. And it's come out really well. So first step, excellent. That's great. And oh, I have got a bit on this. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble. I'm going to have to sneak that off and sneak it back in the kitchen. So now what I'm going to do is take a pair of scissors and just cut down the actual cling film and remove that from the outside of the bowl. And it is actually removing now quite easily, thankfully. But it is leaving what looks like the top layer behind, even though I did actually spray it with mold release as well prior to putting in the feathers, which is a bit worrying. Well, I've trimmed all the edges up now with a pair of scissors, and all I can say is this is hideous. It is an absolutely horrible looking bowl. I really don't like it at all. And the other thing is, it's really heavy in the middle, and I don't like that. I should have put it on the outside so the resin could escape and get away. And I actually can't get the cling film off it, even though I did spray it with mold release, and where it has come off, it's left this awful pattern of cling film underneath it. I would have been much better off just using some normal plastic that I normally use when making bowls or freeform stuff that you've seen me use before. I mean, if you've got the patience of a saint, you could spend maybe the next day picking all these bits of cling film off this bowl like this, but it's still going to be a hideous looking bowl, and it's still going to have all these bits and pieces looking like textured and horrible. I absolutely hate this bowl. I would love to know what your thoughts are. I mean, it's not one of my better experiments, I have to be honest. I can't stop picking bits off it though, but it's never going to come clean. I should know better, but I thought I would give it another try because I've seen so many of these 5-minute crafts and that say that you can use it, and I just wanted to test it out, and it really does not work. If you've had any success with this method, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, or if you've got any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below, because it would make things so much easier and cheaper if people could use cling film. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I do have experiments, I do have projects that work out really well, but I'm so pleased that I've given this one out because I think it's really important to show to other people that actually, even for YouTubers and for us people that have been doing this a long time, things don't work out and we make mistakes and things go wrong. Don't forget, check out the video that's coming up next. Enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.